Henry Schaefer Theater Talk. My name is Catherine Stevens, and I'm part of the education department here at Proctor's Theater. And I'm joined here with members of the Wicked cast and crew. And everybody here saw the show and loved it, right? Yeah. Great. So we'll take this time to have everybody introduce themselves and say what their role is with the production.
Hi, my name is Emily Schulteis, and I am the Alphabet Standby.
Hi, I'm Jillian Butler. I'm in the ensemble, and I understudy Nessa Rose and Glinda.
I'm Lauren Houghton. I'm a swing, and I understudy Nessa Rose.
Hi, I'm Allison Bailey, and I'm in the ensemble, and I understudy Glinda.
Hi, I'm Tregony, and I am the midwife, and I understudy Madame Morrible.
Hi, I'm Harry Boovy, and I played Dr. Dillamond.
Hi, I'm Anthony Festa. I'm in the ensemble. I understudy Fiero, and I'm from Ballston Spa, New York.
I'm Fred Applegate. I played the wizard.
I'm Isabel Keating, and I play Madame Morrible.
All right, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. Who wants to be our first question asker? I'm the taker. You said yes enthusiastically. Is the makeup green or a costume piece?
It's both, actually. So you're green from about the chest up and from the hands a little bit past the wrists. And then for the Ozdes ballroom scene, there's a green bodysuit, too.
How hot is that?
The costumes get pretty hot, but you get to take the bodysuit off after Act 1, because then the rest of it is just long sleeve dresses where it wouldn't be visible anyway. But with those lights and all those layers, man, it gets pretty hot.
Yeah, hydrate, for sure. Keep your weight down. Well, yes.
It's a vibrant show. You're singing, you're dancing, you're moving. What kind of physical training do you go through to sustain?
What kind of physical training do you guys have to go through to sustain that kind of energy?
I like to say that any kind of stage event, and especially this one, and especially for the Alphabet and Glinda, is an athletic event. So essentially it is, you prepare as if you're an athlete. You work on your breathing, you work on your strength, you work on all the aspects of movement and vocal, and anybody else have anything to add?
Absolutely. And what she just said, it's like, if you remember Chistry, her head little monkey, he's like an Olympic athlete to me when I watch him on stage. It's pretty unbelievable how much he jumps around and moves throughout the show. And Chase Madigan, who plays that role, spends about an hour stretching before the show and preparing to go out there and do what he has to do so he doesn't injure himself. A lot of us have different ways to get ready for what we do. For me, it actually took a little while to get used to what was going on. It took me a month for my body to get used to what's going on, but there's a lot of preparation. Like she said, a lot of vocal warming up, a lot of body warming up, but it's definitely physically taxing.
We have some school groups with us today. Do any of you have any questions? Yes. How do you change your costumes so fast?
Lots of help.
We have a lot of underdressing. In the first scene, we all have these mob coats on, and a lot of us are already underdressed into our shiz outfits. So all the costumes are really well done with snaps and really fast hooks, so we can just get out in literally, myself, 10 seconds when I have to change into my wig and just strip it right off.
We also have dressers. For the ensemble ladies, there's one dresser for every 2 to 3 women. I think Isabel shares a dresser with Nessa Rose. The wizard and Harry, I think you guys share a dresser. So they really help us out, especially those quick changes. Like Jillian said at the beginning, it's a very, very quick change for almost everyone in the cast. Mm-hmm. So
You get used to running and taking things off as you're going.
Yeah.
You can just drop them and jump into something else.
We'll go all the way in the back. We'll do the young lady. How much time do you all have to practice to get it perfect?
Well, yeah, we're not perfect yet. Still working on that. It varies. You know, it's interesting because this tour started, in 2007 or 9? 2009, and it has not had one single week off since. So it plays 8 shows a week, 52 weeks a year. And we kind of compare it to a carousel that just keeps spinning. People jump off, people jump on. I just started 5 weeks ago. So I had about a week and a half, 2 weeks of rehearsals. And you have what's called a put-in rehearsal, where everybody is in their street clothes except for me, in my goat mask and all of my costumes, and we run through my sections of the show. But it's also, as they're saying, it's an ongoing process about making it perfect. Every night we're kind of changing and trying to make it better.
I think it's important for everybody to know that it's not only actors in the theater. The way that it happens with such little rehearsal time is, in addition to the dressers backstage, we have somebody who is essentially the pilot of our production, and that's the stage manager. So you want to consider all of the aspects of the theater, and if you are even thinking of getting involved in it, get involved in every aspect of it. Every aspect of it, learn everything, paint the scenery, because there's a lot to do, and we have, how many people backstage? 75? Mm-hmm. About 75 people, and you see maybe 20, 30 of us on stage at any given moment. So there's a lot there.
Yes, in the black. What kind of vocal warm-ups do you do to get the work you do on stage?
It's very individual. We do this 8 shows a week, 52 weeks a year, and so you learn what you need for your own voice. Some people who have to sing extreme songs, like Elphaba and Glinda, and they're really on the edges, they know their instrument and they know what needs to be loose and what they need to work on and what's hard for them. There are other people who don't work as hard. But it's very individual. A lot of times when you're starting out or you're in a small company, you'll do a group warm-up where everyone will do the same thing so that everybody's sort of on the same page. And that's a great idea when you're all learning what your instrument is. But there are also times when one person's warm-up is actually hurting someone else's voice. And I've been doing this professionally for over 40 years, and I know when I arrive at the theater what shape I'm in vocally. So if I need to warm up something, I will, but if I can feel that it's all in line, then I don't do anything, I just do the show. But it all depends on who you are, how your voice works, how your body feels, so it can change from person to person and from night to night.
We also have, it can also be, it's difficult because as you get used to, like anything, if you get used to, say you get really good at doing a dance routine and you have to do that dance routine every day and your body gets used to it. And it's the same thing with the voice. And so you can come to the theater and you can sing through the show because you get used to what it feels like and how to get there. But it can also damage you. Just like, as we are all athletes, if you don't warm your body up, if you don't warm your voice up, and if you are singing, consistently through the show and you haven't warmed up your cords, you can also do damage. So it's part of getting your body warm and getting your voice warm to whatever degree, like Fred said, that you need to get it warmed up to. It's really super important, because even if you know you can get through it if you have to do it to your body or to your voice without doing some sort of preparation to make sure that you're not going to injure yourself, it's really important.
You've been holding your hand up for a very long time in the back row in the red. Did you hear that?
Do we get tired of doing the same show? Same thing?
No. No. I think this show is so special, and if you feel like you're going through, I've been with the show for about 1.5 years, and when you think about, and she's been on for how long?
6 years.
6 years. She's a pro. But, if you feel like you're going to go through a rut, think about I think about the first time I saw the show. I was in 8th grade, so that was a while back. But I just think about seeing the show for the first time and how that was so fascinating to me. And then I think about the little girl or the little boy or the adults that are watching it for the first time too. And then you think about the special story you're about to share. And so I think you have to find your own ways to get out of normalcy. But no, I love it.
Yes, with the green and black jacket. What made you want to start this career? I love these answers.
You're going to get 9 different answers.
My mom took me to see Annie, and that's what it's pretty cliche. But my dad never showed up for our season tickets, and I blame and applaud my dad for not showing up for those tickets, because I saw a lot of shows when I was really young. Like I saw Porgy and Bess when I was like 8, and I saw Oklahoma, West Side Story, all the classics, because my dad didn't show up for our season tickets, and I was my mom's date. So that was my inspiration really young, and I saw a lot of shows probably too young, but yeah, that was my inspiration.
That explains a lot.
Both of my parents were community theater actors, and on both sides of the family. Well, my father's side of the family, everybody plays instruments and sings and does all sorts of things. And my mother wrote plays, and so that was on top of acting in them. And so when I was little in Australia, we had a clearing in the backyard in the forest, and there was a little bird bath in the clearing. And so my mom would write these plays, and we would bring them to life with our cousins and our friends. And my first little role was Gertrude Guzzletop, and she was a fairy. And I've never wanted to do anything else since then. Yes, I had a song. It goes like this. I am a little fairy, and my toes are sort of hairy, and my tummy is a subtle shade of green. And it goes on like that.
Does anyone else want to take a stab?
Sure. I had no one in my family who was in the theater or artistic or at all. I think I was just a young kid who really didn't fit in a lot of places. And so the theater was really the first place where I felt really kind of special. And I'm going to cry, actually. I haven't really said that in a while, but I think that's right. And it continues to do that for me. I still feel like this has been, even in just my 5 weeks here, this is a really special group of people who welcome you and who are enthusiastic about you joining and telling this story. So from the time I was in 8th grade until now, it still feels that way. So.
Yes, thank you for sharing that.
For me, it was a very young age as well, and parents who helped me pursue it and would drive me to and from rehearsal, and then also to soccer practice, and local community theaters, ones you might even know, Schuylerville Community Theater, Homemade Theater, areas around here. People like Mike Gatzendorfer, right there, who directed me in a show at Ballston Spa, okay, right over at Ballston Spa High School. So getting involved locally, and exactly what Isabel talked about, building sets, painting things, figuring everything out, being a part of everything that you can, and just learning and kind of growing at all times.
Okay, you've had your arm up also for a very long time in the very back corner. Have you ever made a mistake on stage? I think that's a yes.
Why did you hand me the mic?
Because I know he's got a good story probably.
It happens. But you just smooth it over and continue to tell the story. It's not like a train. If something goes wrong, you adapt and you patch things up and you keep going. The play never stops, no matter what happens. If someone, say, is late for an entrance or doesn't show up at all, there are ways around it, and you know the story so well because you're telling it 8 times a week, week after week, that you can keep the story going. And we count on each other for that because things happen. People get trapped in elevators, which happened to me once. So, yeah, things go wrong.
In the blue, zip up. Is your all favorite color green? No?
I'm wearing green.
Is it yours? No? Okay, in the gray. How did you get involved with the show?
Is it, and is it hard? Is that what you said? How hard is it?
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's crazily hard. I mean, I had, my first audition for this was 1.5 years ago, and I didn't get it. And I kind of just kept, usually when you get your audition scene that you're auditioning with, they're called sides. So I kept my sides in a drawer, literally just in a drawer. And then they called me a couple of months ago and said they want to see you again. And I'm like, oh, I still have the sides. And I went in actually that night, like 6 hours later, because I was leaving the next day for another acting job. You know, and it's hard. It's really hard getting into any show, but a show like this one, really hard.
I think that tells you, that you have to really want to do it.
Yeah, 7 different auditions, 5 years for the same show, and then finally it happens. Same thing. Yeah.
I think we all audition multiple times.
Yeah, and when it's
for
right,
Wicked, probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it too. Like when it's supposed to happen,
It'll happen.
like the right timing. Like I honestly think that 1.5 years ago, I didn't quite have the age on me quite enough to play Dillerman, even though my head is completely covered and you wouldn't be able to tell what age I am anyway. But I do think there's a certain weight to me now, that emotional weight that maybe I didn't have my first audition.
Yeah, I thought I sent in a video for the show first, and that was like almost 2 years ago, and nothing came from it at all. And then I actually joined Cinderella Tour, which was here 1 year ago here, and I remember doing the same exact thing. And I think that kind of prepared me for a show like this that is so big and there's so many elements. So having that be my second job, I was way more prepared to kind of go into this, and I think it happens when it's supposed to happen for everyone.
Okay, yes, with the blue hair. How much would you say is put into the production? Do you mean financially or time and energy? Financially. Any guesses?
I have a pretty good guess, $12.5 million.
That's a very specific guess.
It's a very specific guess. But that was 12 years ago. That was the original budget, 12, 14 years ago. So it would be closer to 17 million now. And part of the reason for that is, the example we have is the bubble dress that Glinda wears when she's up in the bubble. It's a beautiful dress, and it has lots of layers and little flowers and things, and hand-sewn Swarovski crystals and things all over it. But also the upper half is a hanging harness. It's not just a bodice. It's so that when she's in the bubble, there's a big crampon in the back that gets clipped onto the machine that she's riding so that she can't fall off. And it's taken very seriously. There's a flying monkey behind her that clips her in and locks the crampon and then gives a hand signal to the stage manager and to make sure she's safe. So that has to be built into the dress, and each one of those dresses is $15,500 because of the handwork and because it's worn 8 times a week, 52 weeks a year. If you buy a formal dress for an occasion, you might spend $1,500, but you're not going to wear it 450 times. And that is one dress, and she has 2 understudies, and each one of them has to have their own dress. So that one dress is a budget item of $46,500, and that's how you get to 12 million.
On that, we have time for one more question. Yes, we'll take one right here in the front. With the touring schedule, how do you have a life? Yeah, how do you have friends and pets?
I'm going to start this one because I try to balance. So I wanted to do this my whole life. And when I got Wicked, I started professionally when I was like 17, and I got Wicked when I was 28. And I've been out here for 6 years. I got engaged out here. I got married out here. My husband was in Phantom, and he gets it, and he supports it. We're both artist types, so he understands a lot of the time that this comes first. but it's also provided a great life for us, as did Phantom when he was on that. And it is a priority. I go home, I live in Chicago, I go home between almost every city, or he meets me between almost every city. And it's just what I do to make my marriage work and to make my life out here work. And I really love my job, and it's always what I wanted to do. So yeah, it takes the right person to support your dreams, but you can have, it's a different life, but you can.
Fred's got a wife too.
Oh, well, we all have lives. Did you say wife or life?
Wife and
Oh, yeah. No, this is easier for me because my 3 kids are grown and out of the house. The problem is when I go home and see my wife, we've reached the point in life where our kids are grown and out of the house, and we can have nice things again. And so I'm looking forward to that. But I've been doing this for 40 years. I've been married for 37, and I have 3 kids and a house in California and an apartment in New York, and it can work. And it can also go horribly wrong.
I'm home with my mom right now, so I'm happy.
I travel my cat, and there are a lot of people we have dogs, we have cats out here, people bring their pets out. I've also toured where people have their children on the road with them. So there are so many different ways to make it work, and it can work, and it's definitely suited for that, but it's an energy, and you have to decide what you need to make you happy, and then you sort of create that and take it with you. I also have my car out on the road with me so that I'm able to go and do and see the things that I want to do because that makes me happy. And then, yeah, going home and visiting. Whenever I have a vacation, I definitely go home.
I see my family more than I did when I was in New York City, so it works out great, and I'm getting to see the country, so it's awesome.
I agree. I think I see my family more too. And what's cool is that Wicked is a little bit different from other tours in that when we're in between cities, we actually get 2 days off. So a lot of us are able to travel and go see friends or go home or go see our boyfriends or go to New York City. And I think that is like one of the most important things to make sure you do so that you aren't just feeling like your life is just work. But what's also really nice is that we all like each other out here. So it's not, it doesn't feel like, oh, Jill is my coworker. Oh, Lauren is my coworker. We're friends. Yeah. So after the show, it's not like we all part our separate ways and we're like, oh no, I have to go call someone if I want to be social. It's nice. It's nice that we can have that dynamic out here. I'm not sure that happens in every company, but I think that we would all say that we're very lucky to feel like we all have a social life within our work life. So it doesn't feel like some summer camp that you're writing mom home about, like, get me out of here. That's it.
That's a really great note, I think, to end this on. Let's thank our actors for joining us today. Thank you so much for being a part of this show, and have a great rest of your run here at Proctor's.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Thank you.